So the plan is I've got 4 days to get everything into what I'm going to call maintenance mode. I don't mean by maintenance mode that there will be nothing to do except maintain, because we've still got a lot of growing and harvesting, preserving to do, but to a point where when I go back to work it's going to be a lot easier to stay on top of. I'm starting here because it's just so pretty and happy and there's a lot to do and I'm procrastinating. Anyway, 4 days, so in my brain it made sense to split things into quarters. So if I take the plot as we know it, I'm going to do all of this area here, which includes the polytunnel to the right of me, the greenhouse, which has just been suffering so much from the heat that we've had, and all of these beds in front of me. The flower beds behind that we started with, if you've been here before you'll know that they're graces and they're doing fantastic. I don't touch those. That's probably why they're doing fantastic. Anyway, so plan is to get all of this sort of gravelly bit on this side of that grass done today. So that's day 1. Now I'm also terrible at maths, so my quarters certainly won't be equal. Day 2 is going to be everything on what I call the newer side. So this is one of the newest, or the newest bit to, look at them cheeky blackbirds stealing my stuff. Newest bit to Stephen and I. There used to be a border across here, and this was something totally different. Anyway, this is day 2, and that includes getting all of the weeds out of the paths, trimming the trees back and things. Oh, we'll be able to do the cherry tree now, won't we? That is on my list. I don't have my list in front of me, but we'll be able to do that now. Goodness me, there's a lot of activity in these trees. I think that's pigeons. I'm disturbing their... Can you hear them? They're so noisy, pigeons, aren't they? They're like totally clumsy, like me. Anyway, harvesting beans, getting all of the weeds out, getting these complete runaways taken out. Basically getting it knocked into complete ship shape. Things that have suffered in the heat, that have gone to seed, that can be taken out, be given to the chickens now that we don't have pigs, etc. Get sown what I can, you get the idea, etc, etc. So day 2 tomorrow is everything on this side of that piece of wood, which is a lot smaller than what's left for day 3 and 4. So if I get chance, again, no judgment here please guys, day 3 and 4 will be this side, and I'm going to literally split it down the sort of middle that doesn't exist. Anything on that side I'll do on day 4 probably, this side on day 3. Having said that, we'll just have to see how we get on, because I think there's more work on that side than there is on this side, because that bed over there with the Jerusalem artichokes is going to take quite a bit of effort. Actually, I might have a plan for that. Come back to that. Did you see this as we walked past? I got distracted and didn't stop talking. Isn't that fab? Don't know what it is, but it's fab. Anyway, so that's what we're working with. You can see we've got lettuce that have gone to lead a seed, look like a beautiful Christmas tree. More there, all of the chickens will have all of those. The apple mint coming through this bed here, absolutely amazing. Beetroot, spinach for the winter, thistle for free. Anyway, lots to do. So yesterday I actually made a start. You wouldn't think it to look at it on the tomatoes over there, the outdoor tomatoes, trying to just expose them a little bit more. Might even do that even more. And by that I mean taking some of the leaves off. This has fallen over already, but they are just getting so big and thuggish. They'll be getting the tops trimmed off so that what's there can ripen. They've done really well considering. I mean, we have had a really hot year, so they've probably done better outside than inside, just in terms of getting the water from the ground. But that's the plan, to get all of this knocked into shape so that it's easier for maintenance when I go back to work. Next week. Oh look, some little critter bloody things. Oh, and that's where the critter lives. Can you see him there? Anyway, we'll get all that sorted. So that's what we've got on the cards for the next 4 days, and inevitably, as I am working through, that means there's going to be things to preserve as well. So we'll see what we get done with those. This little table of joy is ready to go in the ground. So we have got beans here that didn't germinate, which were the polka. Didn't expect them to be honest, because that was really old seed and it was just a bit of a gamble. And these are the Brittany haricot seeds. They were from Vital Seeds and they are doing amazingly if anyone's interested. I've got some more of the winter brassicas coming through. There's some cabbage, more cabbage. These are Ferrari beans, which have been nibbled whilst I've been on the floor in the greenhouse. Parsley, which will come through takes absolutely forever. Oh, you need watering. And then bright lights chard and some normal rainbow chard. Are bright lights and rainbow the same thing? Are they just called different things by different companies? I always wonder that one. And then some bunching onions, which I've clearly forgot to put in this cell here. Right, let's get cracking. For the first job, I'm going to need the barrow and a basket. I'm going to harvest all of the tomatoes, and anything that's past it's going in the barrow. Considering the heat we've had, these tomatoes are looking fantastic. There's some brilliant ones, there's some not so brilliant ones. It's the ones in the back here that have suffered due to the heat. There's some really good ones up top there, but you can see the yellowing of the plants and the spiders. What's going on with the spiders? But look at this one. That is absolutely ginormous. So ones on this side I'll be taking down where they're done. The ones at the back I'll be harvesting. Any green ones I will be leaving, but I'm getting this prepared for winter sowings in the greenhouse. These guys in here, for the majority, will just stay. Obviously I'll take off leaves like this. So we'll put a basket full of tomatoes and a barrow full of, well, dead leaves. These are perfect, these ones. Now these might not be as big as they should get, and they might have dried out, but we're harvesting them anyway. This is where we're up to, and it's 10:30. So I've harvested those little aubergines that you've just seen. I've never grown them before. This is looking interesting. Fairy tales variety, so they're all small. You can see some have just totally dried on the plants because they have been suffering with this heat and not getting watered sufficiently. They're all neat and tidy now, room for other things. And along here, obviously all of this will be tidied away. The blueberries have now been, well, basically tidied up. They haven't been pruned or anything just yet. I have these little white bottom of the buckets that Stephen has cut off to use for the water bases. And in just ran out of storage on my phone. The blueberries have all been just basically tidied up in terms of turned around, made sure that they're looking okay. They are watered in these are the bottom of buckets that have been cut off, and some of them it's dry as sticks on top, but underneath it's still full of water, and there's holes in the bottom, so it must be okay. This one needs a water, that one needs a water, the one on the end is absolutely fine and watered. And behind these tomatoes here that I've sorted out is another blueberry in the background that also needs watering. Can you see amongst the sticks? Anyway, here we have got all of these tomatoes have been tidied up and pruned. These cucumbers I thought were done for, but just look, they're growing absolutely fantastically, and I've just harvested one really nice one. So I've just tidied them up, and we'll just see what happens with them basically. All the tomatoes are looking fine. I've moved the jalapeños into here. We're going to get a big harvest of green jalapeños, and I will leave some go for red. They've been lovely this year. And I'm about to start this jungle. So there's your before. Kid you not, I don't know what to do with all this up the top there, so I'm just going to leave it for now, because this was hanging over, taking up all this space here, and it's this space along the bottom that I need most importantly. There's tomatoes left that are ripening on there, but look at this. I have just got so many tomatoes off there, and I've eaten a few along the way. So idea is that I'm clearing underneath here so that I can get the winter stuff. I'm going to broadcast some seeds in here. We'll do that together. But first up, I need to finish. These are done. These are done. I need to do these. They're for harvesting. There's a couple left that are green. And then just look at this. more absolute, complete and utter chaos. But amongst the chaos is some beautiful tomatoes to harvest. So I think, looking at these, most of the plants will come down, not all of them, and we'll see how we get on. This plant here has just done amazing. So another one for next year is the variety Bloody Butcher. Beautiful size. They put up with anything. They're absolutely fantastic. You can see this plant has been very unhappy, but has put on so much fruit. So another one for the list. Well, that was just in the nick of time because the sun has come out with force. A massive, huge harvest of tomatoes, varying types. I shall work with those tonight. I've got a few things that have gone too far for the chickens. They will be grateful for that. I showed you all of this. This bunch of tomatoes here, absolutely bonkers. Let me just get the tag for what they were. Crocchini. You are crazy, crazy crocchini. Just literally a couple of trusses. How crazy is that? So again, getting something special done with those. These are the ones that are left. These plants here are just sharing each other's stability. We all need that at times, don't we? The ones that had finished, I've taken out. I haven't picked that yet, but that is going to be for Grace because that is just one of her favourite slicing tomatoes. They're just absolutely huge. Anyway, so pleased with that. But it's just ridiculously hot in here. It's got up to 32.4, so I am so pleased, just in the nick of time. I'm gonna go out and have a drink. It is 11:53, so we've got the afternoon to get everything else done. So this is just a little bit left from the greenhouse. To be honest, out here, apart from the polytunnel, I'm going to ignore that for as long as possible. There's not that much to do. The cabbages, the green ones are for harvesting, the red ones just need tidying up and spraying because they're going to end up looking like this otherwise. Prime suspect. So people ask me, have you got away with without caterpillars this year? There's your answer. Anyway, not too sure what I'm going to do. I'll have a think while I'm having a drink. The leeks are looking amazing. This bed, Jack has been out this morning and had just helped me clear this bed in his own way. So I've got the paths left to do and basically to just get tidied up. So in theory, I mean, this bit here shouldn't take too long. It's the polytunnel that I really don't want to do. That might have to go till this evening actually because it'll be super hot in there as well. But basically getting that ready for winter because it's done terribly with no water, same as everything else this year. Look at these, crazy. This cauliflower here was a blind one. It never came, nothing came from the middle. It must have been eaten out really young. So these will just get whipped out, put straight into a wheelbarrow and they will go to the chickens. I think the kale looks okay. I'm laughing, looks okay. We'll spray off with the hose pipe, get as much off as possible, and then I'll spray it with BT and we'll go from there. Anyway, I'm dying in this heat. Taking a little basket of tomatoes in because we have a blackbird that keeps coming in and stealing the blueberries. Lunch break over, not only for me but apparently for the farmer who's on the other side of our hedge, so we may get interrupted. This bed here, as I say, Jack had a good go at this for me, and I've just finished off the bits and pieces that were left. There was comfrey, big mistake, put comfrey in down there years ago. It's the Bocking 14, so it doesn't go to seed. You do it with the you know what I mean, what's the word, propagate it from its roots, and it seems to just come back every single year. And we've tried to take it out, much like the Jerusalem artichokes, and replant it, which it's successfully replanted elsewhere, but it still comes back every year. So we've taken the rest of that out, or Jack has, as it should say. I've taken the other bits and pieces out, but now pathways are worse than the bloody beds, look. So on with this bed, don't look at that bed. Actually, what I need to do as well is just cut into this so that you don't get whacked in the face every time you walk through it. Right, in fact I'm going to do that. I've just quickly done this path here, but I'm going to do that next. Up there. Looks a bit better, doesn't it? See the sky now. I'm not sure I'd have made a hairdresser, mind you. Yeah, if you just look at that bit. Let's do it. Does that look any better? That looks a bit better, doesn't it? Right, stop looking. Get on, picking it up now. Right, I'm doing this bed now, and why do the weeds always grow up the side of the leeks? Can you see? It's like they like to be friends or something. Literally, they've all got them growing out the side of the leeks. Anyway, this is me right now. All done. This is actually a mint, spearmint, I think. All done down there. We will address the cold frames a different day. I'm not worried about that. Leeks, all done. They are looking absolutely fabulous. So another one for next year will be the Musselburgh variety. I think there's two in here actually. I can see that tag says Musselburgh. What was this one? Oh, blooming egg. Oh, Musselburgh as well. Don't know why I've got two tags and there must have been two trays in here. So yeah, Musselburgh leeks all the way next year. Whew. So that's the path that I've just been doing. Down the bottom there isn't actually weeds. I started chopping this hedge down. I got a little bit carried away with those trimmers that I was using on there. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. I've stopped myself because I go down these rabbit holes and then before I know it, it's bedtime and I've not got anything done. So next up is to get this pathway done, ignoring that. And in this bed here, I'm going to harvest these 4 cabbages before the caterpillars harvest them all. And then I left those in as a sacrifice and I think we can truly say that that's worked. And then I'll just tidy these up, and I need to spray everything, all of the brassicas, so I will do that probably all at once. I don't know if there's anything over there that will need to, anyway, I need to have a think. But I've got some powder that I got off eBay, so I will be using that to spray these. And then we're going to continue working in this little bit here. I think that pathway is done down there. And then we'll come to this absolute mess. But not yet. Look at the colour of me. Oh my goodness. Nearly the same colour as this. And then I've got that to do. But I think I said already, I'm not going to get to that until it cools off a bit. The sun's actually gone in just now, but my goodness me, it is stinking hot still. And being somebody who's not great in the heat, I'm suffering. Now I'm going to have to be quick because I'm running out of space again, so I really need to sort that out. But I'm going to harvest these cabbages and basically take the outside leaves off. That one over there in the corner, I've noticed has got a bit of damage to it, so we might just chop that off. I'll show you one. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. There you go, that's what it looks like. Absolutely solid. And then if we just take the over here, come on, excuse the lack of editing. There you go. Pretty much cleaned up. Obviously these bits here where they've already been in and got it, I shall just cut those off, but let's get the rest of them and see what we end up with. The chickens will be very happy with the cabbage leaves. I take quite a bit of this one, but they are reasonable cabbages. They will get used straight away, they're not for storing, and they would have been fantastic if they'd have been covered, so we will be doing this next year too. Do you know, I don't think these cabbages are going to grow much more. This one is just fabulous. The others are so-so, nice one in the corner, but I'm thinking that these are going to get harvested within the next few days as well. So that's okay. I've taken the outer leaves off. They're going to go to the chickens, and before any more damage is done, we'll get those whipped out. I'm not sure if you can see from there, but there are caterpillar eggs on them as well, so you know they're not going to stand much chance. They'll end up like the bed behind me if we're not careful. I'm going to give this to the chickens as well, and then that's this bed pretty much done. A few weeds need taken out, and then I have got a couple of errands that I need to run this afternoon, so I will be back later this evening, hopefully with a fixed phone because it keeps conking out on me, and we'll be in the polytunnel. Well, we've got a dip in the sun, and if my battery allows, this is where we've got to. What a mess the polytunnel was. I'll overlay what it looked like before, and this is what it's looking like now. All of the pots that were just down here are now in the corner. Doesn't look necessarily tidier, but it's better than being in the way just as you walk in. Couple of cucumbers that are a bit left going to seed there. This bed was done anyway, but I've just taken out the roots and things that were in there. And this bed has had a massive tidy up, so there's some cabbages that are ready to harvest, but the kale that were getting absolutely hammered by the caterpillars, I've taken off basically as many of the skeleton leaves as I can. You'll see some of them I've left some on, others don't know if they're going to come back, but there is growth on them again, so we shall see. But that's what that bed's looking like. I've got winter plants that will be going in anytime soon, beginning of September. Leek bed's all weeded, end bed's ready for the winter produce. I've took back, not necessarily again a hairdresser, but I've just taken back this mint that we will end up taking out. It, for some reason, it attracts like flies. Like, I don't know if it's coming up on the camera, but there's just flies all over it. I hate it. Anyway, so that's where we're up to. On to the next.